Haskins, though, and you compare to RG3 at that time was a different type of quarterback who he wasn't as much of a drop-back passer. He did a lot with his legs, similar to what Jackson is looking to do with Baltimore, and he made plays. I think when you look at Haskins and the fact that he's got a very solid running game behind him, and when that offensive line is healthy, a good offensive line, maybe not those marquee playmakers you need on the outside, but he does have two really good tight ends. I think they do take the next step if Haskins is the key, which we've all said. I'm going to say that I'm not even 100% sure, guys, that if Alex Smith can come back a little bit, and he looks like he might need some time, but he's there, and you've got Colt McCoy who say is healthy in camp, I'm not sure when the season starts if Case Keenum is even a Redskin.
Yeah, you know what? That's I can buy that.
I really think it's, Haskins is that guy, being from that area and where they got him in the draft. And I could see Daniel Snyder wanting to make him the face. And each team has kind of a different philosophy. Do you force that guy to be the guy day one? Or I know we talked about it a couple years ago with Trubisky, and we know Mahomes had the whole year off. But I just think in the Redskins' approach, I think it's going to be Haskins in camp. And if he shows anything in preseason, my guess is that they go with him to start the season. Just a personal opinion, guys.
So it sounds like maybe you're a little higher than the Redskins than the market is. Is that the case?
I think so. As I mentioned, I like what they did last year. I like the fact that they have 4 good running backs on that team, 2 good tight ends, a younger wide receiver core. The real key is injuries. That offensive line and defense suffered so many injuries last year. And I think for a young quarterback, what they have on offense is a lot of weapons to help him, a lot of good young weapons, especially running backs. So I am a little bit higher, but this really the key is Haskins, guys. But I think he's going to be a decent NFL quarterback. Granted, he's a rookie. He's going to make mistakes. But I think he's going to get the nod out of camp. Again, personal opinion, they're just getting to camp soon, so only time will tell. But I think it's going to be Haskins.
It's our Sunset Station Casinos Monday here on the Las Vegas Sportsline. We're back from our vacation. I'm Dave Cokin. Marco DAngelo from WagerTalk is here, and Chuck Esposito, who runs the show at Sunset Station, is joining us on the phone to talk some NFL and other stuff as well. And we've left the Philadelphia Eagles for last in the NFC East. And, of course, last year was a big disappointment to the Eagles coming out of 2018 or 17, I should say, as the world champions. And they just never seemed to put it all together. I don't know whether it was a season-long Super Bowl hangover or whether everything just fell into place just right in 2017. I have a tendency to think it was the latter, particularly with the fact that Carson Wentz was out come playoff time, and Nick Foles, who's basically a good backup quarterback, was the guy who propelled them to the Super Bowl championship. Foles ended up behind center last year as well, when Wentz went down, and the team responded with some good performances. Well, no more Foles. It is Carson Wentz all the way now. And I'm really not sure what to make of the Eagles. I think on paper they're a pretty good football team. I don't think they're as good as the team that won the championship. I think they're better than the team that was on the field most of last year. Does the market agree with that, Chuck?
Absolutely agree with that. I think you look at Philly and the fact that they gave Wentz that big deal, they clearly believe in him. They think that he's going to revert back to that rookie year before that injury, and they're expecting gigantic things from him. I mean, you look at that offense, guys. Look at the running backs. I have to believe that they're going to be an active trade partner for someone that needs a running back. You have Josh Adams in his second year who played well in a spurt last year. Corey Clement, who carried the load at times. You make the trade for Jordan Howard from the Bears, who could be their workhorse. You have Humphrey from San Diego State, who was so dynamic in college, and now he's in his second year. You've got a first-year back in Boston Scott from Louisiana Tech, but they've got a rookie from Penn State in Miles Sanders, who is probably going to be the guy. Not sure if he'll be the guy out of camp or not, but at some point he is going to be the guy. And I think you look at the wide receivers to go with Jeffrey, if he's healthy, and now that you pick up Deshaun Jackson, bring him back to Philly, he's such a dynamic playmaker that this is a guy that is a difference maker that can help that team so much. You've got Zach Ertz at tight end, and you look at what you've got around Carson Wentz, and wow, I think that offense has the potential to be really scary, but they put everything in on Wentz, and they expect him to be that same quarterback. There is nobody behind him now. If he gets hurt or falters, Cody Kessler is not going to be Nick Foles. So there is a lot of pressure on Carson Wentz, guys.
Oh, I agree with that completely. And, can Wentz stay on the field, and can he find that form that he showed as a rookie? One thing I'm not worried about on this team, Marco, and that's motivation. I think coming off what was really a flat 2018 season, these guys are going to be ready to go in week one.
They are, and I love the coach there as well. He's one of the guys that's more innovative in his play calling. But my big question, you just touched upon it, and that's what I was going to ask, Chuck. My concern is if I'm playing anything with the futures, and that's why I can't make a futures wager on Philadelphia, whether I like them or not, and the reason being Carson Wentz, this is 2 years in a row, has gotten hurt. And as you said, the cupboard's bare now. There's nobody to step in that you feel comfortable with. If I had a season win total on Philadelphia and I lose Wentz for 2, 3, 4 weeks during the season, I think my wager's up in smoke, and I don't want to do that. If he's a guy that's been durable, yeah, but he hasn't been. So that's my concern with Philadelphia. Offensively, if everybody's healthy, they have the best offense, I feel, in the NFC East.
So let's talk about...
I think you can say that, though, guys. I'm sorry, Dave. I didn't mean to interrupt.
Go ahead, Chuck.
I think you can say that, though, about so many teams as far as win total goes. I mean, if it's not Aaron Rodgers, if it's not Jared Goff, if it's not Mitchell Trubisky, if it's not Drew Brees, I think most people can't even name the backup on most teams. So you miss a starting quarterback for 2 to 4 weeks, and your win totals are absolutely, in big trouble. I think when you look at future books, though, I think that's the great thing about football, the way the salary cap is and the way it's structured. I think even you look at the entire NFC, just for an example, we're talking about, we've talked about Philadelphia and Dallas and the question marks there. You look at Chicago, they lose Fangio. Can Trubisky take the next step? I think so much pressure is on him right now. Mm-hmm. I think they've added some nice pieces in the offseason with Montgomery and what they've done through the draft, I think, which will help that team. Can the defense pick up and win 2 or 3 games like they did last year? You look at Green Bay. They went out and improved their defense, but did they do enough to give Aaron Rodgers? Drew Brees is getting older with each passing season. Todd Gurley's got some injury questions with the Rams. I think there's so many question marks right now for so many teams. There isn't that clear-cut slam dunk. Outside of talking about the Patriots who don't have Gronk, I think there's question marks with so many teams. So maybe you're looking for value in each conference, and maybe those are that next tier teams that are in the conversation looking for a little bit of value.
Well, let's take the value out of the mix and just talk about our predicted order of finish in the NFC East. I'll lead off, and look, it's a reluctant choice because I am clearly worried about Wentz being able to play 14 games, let alone 16 games. But I'm going to go with the Eagles to win the division. I think the talent's there for them to bounce back. I've got the Cowboys second, but I have question marks with them. I'll pick the Redskins third, but maybe with a little arrow up. They could be better than I think they're going to be. And the Giants, probably the only easy choice for me, Chuck. I've got them finishing last.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. I want to put Dallas 1. I really do. But they just have a lot of questions. I know all the teams have question marks, but I really like that, outside of, Wentz's health, I love the draft pick of Miles Sanders, but I love bringing Deshaun Jackson back. I think bringing him back and having that receiver that can stretch the field. You've got a great possession receiver in Jeffrey, who they didn't have early last season. You hope can stay healthy. You've got a phenomenal tight end. You can make a case that he's 1 or 2 in Zach Ertz. And the guys that they have running the ball now, you have Howard maybe early, Sanders and Clement maybe late. I really like the pieces they've added on offense, so I'm going to give them just a slight nudge above the Cowboys. I wouldn't be surprised if they're flip-flop, but I'm going to agree with you on that. And I think there is an arrow up on the Redskins with the Giants right now, the team that I thought would take a big leap last year and be that kind of surprise. They were that vogue team that everybody liked. I'm going to have them fourth in the East as of right now, guys.
I'm going to go Dallas. Just flip-flop you, Chuck. I got the slight nod to Dallas over Philly. I got Washington in the third spot, and the Giants unanimous fourth spot.
There you go. We will do one division each week for the next 8 weeks, starting with today. We're going to make this Chuck's domain because he is so in tune with the NFL. And so next week we'll check out one of the other NFC divisions. British Open starts on Thursday, and it's going to be a great tournament. Chuck, there are a lot of ways you can go with this one. Where are the bettors looking right now?
You know, guys, you're right. You're absolutely right. There are so many ways to go. There's so many young, talented golfers. If you're looking at Spieth or Johnson, so many guys, Koepka, that they're looking at right now. You look at guys who have played that course well in the past. They look for value here, too. Tiger's always an interesting proposition. You know, for us on our end, if that certain individuals wearing that red Nike shirt on the back nine on Sunday, it always adds intrigue. But I suspect, based on what we've seen so far in the first few majors this year, we're going to see pretty much a record handle on the British just based on that.
Heading over to the big boxing match.
Big fight this week.
Yeah, we've got Pacquiao. Is he retired? Retired?
No, he's not going to retire until he's like 70, I think. And he's still going to be the betting favorite in every fight. Look what's happening here, Chuck. I mean, Thurman opened up the favorite in this fight, but not anymore. Pacquiao is taking a lot of money, isn't he? Did we lose Chuck? I don't know. I don't hear him. Well, we'll try and get Chuck back for a moment to get an update on Pacquiao. Is he there? No. Okay, we'll try and get him back. Let's take a quick break, and then we'll get the PacquiaoThurman on the back end, and we'll look at our Joe's Angle of the Day and our Monday MJ Christensen 4 at 4.
The Las Vegas Sports Line.
When it comes to dependability in car batteries, no one beats Interstate Batteries. Interstate Batteries has been providing outrageously dependable starting power for over 65 years. With over 200,000 dealers nationwide, there's one near you. Just click on interstatebatteries.com.
MJ Christensen at Boca Park. More than just a store that sells jewelry, Cliff Miller.
Oh, absolutely. We're your one-stop shop. Whatever it is in jewelry that you need, whether it's a repair, appraisal, we've got 4 certified gemologist appraisers on site, so we do most of the appraisals in Las Vegas.
Take your dated heirloom and create something new. MJ Christensen, something special for the love of your life. Located at Boca Park. Follow us on Facebook for exclusive offers.
Purchase any new Ford from Ford Country and you'll experience the Ford Country difference. Hi, it's the Herd. Let me explain the Ford Country difference. With a new vehicle purchased, Ford Country will include free dent repair, free windshield repair, and free paint and scratch repair. Good for 1 full year from the date of purchase on any new Ford car, truck, or SUV. That, my friends, is the Ford Country difference. Ford Country, where everything they do is driven by you. Ford Country. It's just off the 95 in Henderson's Valley Auto Mall.
A tip from Sunburst Shutters on your next home improvement. You can change the look of your home without having to move by simply adding a fresh coat of paint and installing Polywood shutters from Sunburst Shutters. They dramatically change the look and feel of your home, and not to mention the energy savings. Who doesn't want to save extra money and still get everything you want? Sunburst Shutters can help. They're offering up to $500 off select purchases. So now is the time to check out Sunburst Shutters showroom or online at sunburstshutterslasvegas.com. Their customer service is impeccable and 100% satisfaction guaranteed. Sunburst Shutters always look brand new because they don't warp from our Vegas sun, and they're so easy to clean. The summer heat can be beat with Polywood shutters. And with up to $500 off select purchases, don't wait another summer. Sunburst Shutters is locally owned and operated. Check them out online and play around in the Idea Gallery to see what will fit your style. It's amazing, and it's all at sunburstshutterslasvegas.com.
It's desert riding time in your Razor, Rhino, or Can-Am side-by-side. But with aftermarket goodies like lights, stereo systems, and heaters, you need dependable power. And a second battery from Interstate Batteries is the perfect choice for that added muscle. Sure, it may cost a little more, but it's worth it when you're miles away from base camp. Install an Interstate battery for accessories and ride with confidence. And before heading out, make sure all your ATV batteries are fully charged. Most authorized dealers will do it for free.
Interstate Batteries. Outrageously dependable.
Dave Cokin with John Lyons from Lyons Physical Therapy. So give me a rundown on maybe a typical treatment at LPT.
Sure, Dave. On an initial consult, we'll sit down with the patient for at least 10 or 15 minutes, get a history of their injury or their condition. Then we'll move into an assessment where we put our hands on the patient, take them through a few special tests to identify what the pain source is and what the actual injury is. Then we'll use some modalities like heat and electric stimulation to reduce their pain and muscle spasms. And typically our physical therapist or assistant will do some type of manual stretching, massage therapy, or range of motion on that patient. And after the initial visit, we typically